Hey guys, and welcome back to another video on Lumber Capital Log Yard. So I start up the mill first thing here this morning, and I have a trouble lamp come on. What the heck does that mean? I don't really know, so we're going to be figuring that out together. Let's get into the video. So I called Marty up at Wood-Mizer, and he said that he was actually going to tell somebody else to call me to help. So I'm actually waiting for somebody from Wood-Mizer to call me so they can help me fix this problem. But meanwhile, I pulled out our engine manual here, and I was just taking a look at what it said. It calls it a trouble lamp. As far as I can see here, it has something to do with maybe the regen or the exhaust, which that troubles me because we did just put an exhaust extension on the mill and ran it for one day and it worked perfectly, and then the mill actually hasn't been run at all now. So then when I turned it on, it had this trouble lamp on. So I honestly have no idea what's going on. I hope it has nothing to do with that because I really need that extension on there, and if it's causing a problem, we're gonna have to take it off. But I switched it over to the next page, and here it's referred to as the failure lamp. That doesn't sound any better. And a bunch of stuff I honestly don't really know what it means. Don't call me dumb, you guys, maybe just a little bit. I'm not a mechanic. I know how to run the mill, but I don't know much when it comes to this stuff. So that's why I'm waiting to get that phone call. And once that happens, we can go from there. But before then, I don't really think this manual's helping me out too much. So first thing that happens when I turn this on is the diagnostic page comes up here, and you see it says engine. That kind of freaks me out. I don't really know what this all means, but if we go out of that page, then you see that light is flashing, and that's the trouble lamp that I was referring to. So I've never had this light come on. This is all new to me, but you know what, you guys? Someday all of the lights are gonna come on for me, and I'll slowly figure out what each one means and how to fix it. But this mill is still fairly new to me, and new stuff happens all the time. But once it's new, it's not new anymore next time it happens. You see what I mean there? So I'm hoping that they're going to give me a call here pretty soon. I've been kind of just stalling. I'm making this video. Still no call yet, so I'm just waiting for that. Not really much to do until then. Well, I guess while we wait, I can take a coffee break because, you know, it is that time. But you guys would laugh at me how I make my coffee in the morning if I'm in a rush. I actually thought ahead, okay? I thought ahead last night, and I made it ahead of time so that it could be in the fridge overnight so it could cool. But if I don't do that and I am gonna be late for work, I pour it into a saucepan that's like wide so there's lots of surface area, and I stick it in the freezer so it cools it down as quick as possible. I wouldn't recommend it. That's not the best way to go. I'd recommend thinking ahead like I did last night. It honestly makes it taste way better. But sometimes I like to oversteep it. I like it tasting really bitter and strong, and a lot of people would just completely disagree with how I do it sometimes. But in the end, I'm a bit of a coffee snob. That's why we had to get our own coffee line. And if you haven't tried it out yet, you definitely should, because it's the best coffee I've probably ever tasted. We've wanted to provide you guys with coffee for a while, but it was always the situation like, yeah, but where are we gonna get really good coffee? Because we don't just want to sell any coffee. Well, that's why it's actually a friend of ours that does it down in Florida, and he does it just as a hobby. So he loves to spend the time and the effort to make it really good, because it's not some mass-produced product, and that, I think, is where the difference lies. So it's the best stuff I've ever tasted. Did I already say that? Doesn't really matter. You want me to throw the stick? Always. She's so persistent. I could just throw that stick all day. But yeah, ouch, that hurt. It's really good. It's really good stuff, and I'll leave a link to it down in the description. It's a link to our merch shop, but you'll find it there. Lumbercapital.shop, you guys. Try it out for yourselves and let us know what you think about it. Looking for rough cut lumber for your next project? Look no further. Here at Lumber Capital Log Yard, we specialize in rough cut hemlock, which is bug and rot resistant, perfect for any outdoor project, and at a price that you can afford. Stop in today or call 570-651-3442.
So what's going on with it this morning? Does it seem like it's not communicating through the...
It was the one the farthest to the left.
So it's just an engine trouble lamp, but just
Okay.
to give you a heads up on that, the head ECU in that remote box of the Sawmill or the engine ECU, if either one of those senses a problem, it's going to throw a code up like that, or throw a light up, and then if you go into the code history, you may be able to identify which code is actually
Got it.
causing
So
the issue.
it did.
So
It did.
I got the picture of that was sent to Marty.
Yeah.
Of the throttle ECU or whatever.
Diagnostic page that was up on the computer.
Yeah, let me take a quick peek at it again.
So it was like that for hours this morning. I turned it off, turned it back on. I did unplug the cable because it's just what you do when you have a computer. But
Right.
it didn't help. I ran one log. I milled it with the light flashing, with the light blinking constantly. I milled one log, and I got really worried because the manual said don't operate if it's on or something like that. So I just lost basically half the day production-wise, not milling. But then I got a hold of somebody at the headquarters there, and I went to turn it on to, talk to him about what the diagnostic was saying, and it just was off. It just turned off. It's just off now.
Away on its own?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
No.
Yeah.
There's a couple of tricks on this 70 that I've learned is
Okay.
if you turn the key off and give it a few minutes and then turn it back on and the code stays active, sometimes it looks for power to be disconnected. So if you unplug the control stand, sometimes
Right.
that kills the power to the HMI, the display, and the operator ECU inside the control box.
Yeah.
And when that happens, it usually allows it to do kind of a hard shutdown or a hard reset, I guess.
Right. That
And
makes
when you
sense.
turn it back on with everything plugged in, a lot of times it'll come back on and the code will go away. It's hard to explain why the code got activated
Yeah.
until you find the smoking gun of what caused it. But if it's cleared and it's back to running okay at this point, great. If it's not coming up to full RPM, or you feel like the blade speed's not at its normal blade speed, if you open up the configuration page and go into the head calibration page, there's a box on that screen that shows the blade speed. Just verify that it shows 5,800 feet per minute.
Okay, walk me through how to get to that again.
You have the three arrows in a circular pattern.
Oh my gosh, the diagnostic code just showed up again. I milled a couple logs with it, and now it's back up here.
The same one?
Yeah, it looks like it. I'm just gonna go out of it if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, and now, oh yep, it's back to flashing. What the heck? Okay.
So it's not liking something, which is weird because this engine, the Tier 4 engine, should not have a throttle ECU or command from it. So it's almost like it's not a, what would I call it? Like a nuisance code that's showing up for some reason. And I'm not sure why it's throwing that out there. But
Marty mentioned over text that it might be a loose wire.
And that's possible because the ECU at the control stand communicates to the ECU in the hydraulic box, which communicates to the head ECU in the remote box that carries the travels back to the saw head. And then from there, it communicates with the engine ECU. all of those communicate through two wire circuits, and they're described in the electrical schematic as can high and can low. It's similar to the computers that they put on new cars nowadays. You have a computer for your anti-lock brakes, you have a computer for your throttle, your engine, your transmission, all kinds of things. We're doing the same thing with the Sawmill. It's just different computers operate different outputs, I guess.
Okay.
Like our hydraulic works our hydraulic functions on our bed. Our head works our engine throttle, our blade guide arm in and out, loop miser, debarker, whatever you have on your saw head, your up and down, your forward and reverse, all comes off the head ECU. So they all have to communicate, but if there's a break or a bad connection in that CAN wire, it could cause it to lose that communication and get errors to pop up, like what you're seeing. In this case, you're seeing a throttle ECU error, which is unusual because the Tier 4 engine should not have a throttle ECU system at all.
Okay, so how do I check that blade speed again?
If the screen's gone back to the home screen and it's not showing an error code, you can hit 3 arrows in a circular pattern button. That'll take you to the configuration page, and then drop down and scroll down to the head calibration, and then push the button that you scroll down to highlight it, and it'll take you into the head calibration page.
Okay, head calibration.
When that page opens up, you should see a box in there that shows 5800, or it should show blade speed.
Yep, it says 58. Yeah, it says 58.
Okay. I've seen that default back to 0. I've seen it default down to 1300 or 1700. And usually the engine will run, but the engine won't rev up to full speed. And that's the complaint that they call in about. It's not coming up to full speed. So that has to be at 5800. So that's good. If you back up and escape back one time, does it go back to that configuration page?
Yes, yep.
What's your readings from the top to bottom? Just read them off one at a time real quick.
Regional settings, head calibration, display settings, auto mode settings, hydraulic settings, diagnostics, joystick configuration, DPF regeneration.
Okay, the very top one, regional settings, is that what it says?
Yeah.
Highlight it and click on that page and see what it takes us to.
Language, unit of measure, and engine type.
Go to engine type and bring it up, and then look at the numerical numbers that's in the box. There should be only one, but tell me if it's for the Tier 4 engine or which engine.
Yanmar Tier 3.
Yeah, but does it have a numerical number in a box, like a number 3?
Yeah, it has a 3 there.
Okay, next to the line item that represents the number 3, what does it say on that line item?
1 equals Yanmar Tier 3.
Okay, so does the next line say 2 equals Yanmar?
Yes, Tier 2, and then 3 equals Yanmar Tier 4.
Okay, but what's in the box is the number 3, right?
Correct.
Okay, so it is set up for the Tier 4 engine. Okay, let's escape out of that, and then let's drop down to the diagnostics page, and then open up the diagnostics page, and at the bottom of that diagnostics page, there's a software package number. I want to see what that number is.
Software version. Oh no, software package 9.7.
Okay. Now, if you press the top left button on that display screen, it should show engine ECU.
Engine diagnostics. Okay, here we go. Engine hours, engine time since regeneration. Exhaust gas lamp is... The exhaust gas lamp is changing. Oh, it's gauging the temperature. Got it. Okay.
Okay, it's monitoring that. That's
yeah,
good.
Yeah.
If you press that button again, does it change to the head ECU?
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
Okay, and then what's the version number at the bottom of the head ECU page?
8.2.
Okay, and then if you press the next off button down on the left, does it go to the bed ECU?
The next button down, yeah, it looks like the bed setting there.
Okay, yep. And then what's the version of the bed setting? Is it 4.0?
It is. They sent Andrew Knoll over here to do a whole alignment on our mill because there was a weird reading issue, but that was fixed with the alignment. There's been, there's been stuff, but we've pretty much figured it all out.
Videoed that service?
I did, yeah.
Okay, I got to see that.
Oh, okay.
They were sharing it around at the shop. That was cool. So the reading that was messing up, was he able to get that fixed for you?
Yeah. So like I was saying, it's everything that's, there has been stuff, but it's all been pretty much figured out.
Okay.
So.
Was it something to do with the transducer and how it was reading and displaying the head height to the screen?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, excellent. What else to check on this thing? But as long as the engine's throttling up to full speed and we're getting 5,800 feet per minute on our blade speed, and you can saw with it, I would say if we can get the code to stop flashing at you by hitting the X and it going away, great, go ahead and run it. If it comes back on and it's triggering that code, then I would say use a lot of caution when you're operating.
So I did push the X, and that did not turn it off.
Okay, but the engine's not running right now, right?
Oh, no, it's not. Should I start it and see?
Yeah, go ahead and start it and see if you can clear it with the engine running.
It's still flashing. Should I engage the blade?
Yeah, engage the blade to see if the engine revs up to its normal RPM. Do you see the engine RPM symbol at the top of your display?
Hold on. It's hard to hear when the blade's running. Where do I find the engine RPM?
If you look across the top of your screen, you'll see a symbol. I can't remember what it looks like, but it should be idling somewhere around 1,500 RPM.
Is that it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that's your engine RPM, like your tachometer on a sports car.
Okay.
But the 3150, 3050, 3150, that's your normal engine RPM when the blade speed is running at 5,800 feet per minute. And as long as your engine's throttling up to full speed, I'm really not sure. I can't explain why the trouble codes is coming on. Well, like I said, I don't like to tell the sawyers to operate it with the mill lamp or trouble lamp flashing at them, telling them there's a problem. But I want you to also think about it or be aware of what code is actually being triggered at the time when it comes on. And then if there's any way to get the code to go out, like if you can engage the auto clutch and get the engine throttled up, and if the light stops flashing at you, then I would say go ahead and start sawing again. If it comes back on and you go in and double check your trouble codes and you see that it's still this throttle ECU problem that it's seeing with the throttle and the engine's revving up as normal, I'd say go ahead and run it. Just be very careful, monitor your even you have a coolant temperature symbol that gives you your engine coolant temperature, and you have an oil pressure symbol up there that gives you oil pressure reading, I think.
Alright, well, I'm gonna maybe cut a few more, see what I can do here, see if it will turn off. Maybe I'll unplug it again, although that didn't seem to help the other two times I did it, so
well, keep in mind, like I was saying, sometimes you get a nuisance code that pops up because of the timing in which the communication information passes back and forth from component to component on these ECUs. And it may be as simple as it's some kind of a timeout fault that's going on. I'll look in the Yanmar manual and see if there's any more specific information on the code that it's giving us, and then I'll reach back out to you if I have some more concerning information that I want to share with you.
Okay, thank you so much for your help.
You're welcome. We'll talk to you soon.
Alright, you too. Bye-bye. Wow, that was a lot of information for my brain to handle, but Dennis over there at Woodmiser is very helpful, and I enjoyed talking to him. He just poured a whole lot of knowledge onto my brain. Hopefully I can retain that. Ooh, okay, so anyhow, I don't know why that light is still on. I'm going to cut a few more logs and just watch it, see if I notice anything. But I'm gonna have to leave you guys here because this is already a long video. Thanks for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. It's kind of boring, but at the same time, really informational if you can keep up with everything that he was saying. So make sure to give this video a like and subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. It's just a click away. It's completely free and it really helps grow our channel. We much appreciate it. Other than that, we'll see you back here next time. Bye.